Hello, everybody, and welcome! I did not sort people's spaces out, so we're gonna go based off of memory, and then while people are doing introductions, I will fix the layout. So, hello, everybody. Today is August 22nd, 2019, and you are loved. It is a very important thing to hear and to remember, each and every single one of you, even those who haven't joined our show yet. No, you are loved. Other important things to remember is that we do this Monday, Tuesday, and Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here at twitch.tv/indooradventures. We have VODs that go up on youtube.com/indooradventures or anywhere that you listen to audio casts and indulge your audio receptors there. You can also catch at /indooradventures. We also have a podcast for an after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from you guys but also from the community. So if you are interested in possibly giving questions to anybody on the show, feel free to check out Patreon. It's also the easiest way to get access to our Discord. Well, one of the easiest ways. The other is to just hang out in the show, and then you can join our Discord link from there. We got all sorts of stuff going on in there pretty regularly, so that's really fun. However, if you already support us on Patreon, if you already support us on Twitch, hey, did you know there's a third way to support the show, and that is through bit.ly/adventure merch, where you can pick yourself up something nice. We got posters, we got mugs, we got crop tops, I'm working on the pants, because Team Salt Bay needs ham pants. That is a guarantee. We are working on adding more stuff to the store, so consider going to bit.ly/adventure merch to pick yourself up some stuff, because we got mugs of different sizes with all sorts of patterns. It's a good time. With that, Dingo, who are you playing tonight?
That's a good question. I'm Dingo. I use she, her, and I am playing Hish Sungard, the half-orc fighter, normal man, confronting his normal man's past. He also uses he, him.
Sorry, Reeves, who are you playing?
Hi, I'm Reeves. I use he, him. I am playing Ulman Dark, and him, they use he, him, or they, them.
Hi, I'm Cyber. I use he, him, and I'm playing Albus, the Clashter Bard, who also uses he, him.
Yes. And I am the Indoor Adventurer, and tonight I shall be your Dungeon Master. So, last we left off, you guys had gotten done staying the night at a spooky house in order for Albus to have a place of residency within the town of Saltmarsh. Hish, you ended up having a quiet family man's night in, hanging out with your son and your ex-partner, but just kind of enjoying a small moment of quiet before the four of you decided, as well as with your crew of Acquisitions Incorporated hirelings, to get on the job that Omen Dran had given you to investigate a ship that is of Hish's past, a derelict ship that was seen sailing known as the Iron Duke, which is impossible because the Duke went down 5 years ago. After you guys had left the safety of Saltmarsh, you ended up encountering a set of Sahuagin warriors that decided that, well, they were going to try and ambush you in broad daylight as best they could. But your crew, being as trained and young godly as you are, decided to just ace them. It was really no issue. Albus did drop at a certain point, but thankfully Jill was able to heal him in time. Speaking of, our dearest KyleWithAnN is not with us again this week, if you probably guessed that from either the visual or the audiocast overlay. Hopefully next week they will be done with their trip around the US doing some fun stuff. You guys then saw the Iron Duke, managed to take a rowboat out to it, and upon entering into the actual Duke itself, upon boarding, you discovered an altar made of stone in the back room that Hish, you knew, led deeper down into the actual ship itself. And upon looking at this altar, Ulman, You recognized what altar this was a deity to, and you recognize this to be a altar to Lolth. It is at that point that the three of you begin to hear a rustling sound, and it's very quick, and coming from the left-hand side, a large form looms out from the cobwebs as you see that there is just this giant spider, its mandibles currently clicking together, edging its way towards you. And from your right, you see that there is a bipedal creature, also with these mandibles kind of sticking out from its mouth, purple in skin, and it is making its way towards you as well. And as you are looking between the two, you realize the ground is moving beneath you, and erupting from the floorboards, hundreds and hundreds of very tiny spiders. I'm going to need you all to roll initiative as we start off the night dealing with the fucking room you guys left in your homestead.
Why? Why?
Anito Gaming, thanks for the follow.
What the fuck?
No. There, that's close enough. But yes. The ship is full of spiders.
That's a 11 for initiative for Hish.
Okay.
So Albus got a 17. Jill got a 5.
Okay.
I rolled a natural 1 for Jill, so we're starting out strong.
Ooh.
And Ulman.
I got a 15.
Okay. So, going first is this bipedal creature that, looking at the lot of you, seems to kind of be moving a lot easier through the webs that have covered the walls and the floors than you guys have been able to. And it just kind of runs forward, shambling as it does. These chittering mandibles, again, just kind of clicking to themselves, almost cleaning in anticipation, as it rears up a claw and goes to strike out towards you, Ulman. So, with its claw, it is going to get a natural 1. You easily dodge it. The immediate nope, I'm out reaction of spiders just very easily allows you to dodge past this oncoming attack. Then it is going to lean forward and actually try and bite out against you. And when it bites, it will get a 19 to hit.
That will hit.
Okay. So
as a reaction, I want it to make a dex save.
Sure. It fails. It got a 7.
So as it bites me, the area around where he bites turns to that fluorescent blue color and kind of shoots out and becomes knives that stab into his face.
Oh shit! What spell is this? Hellish Rebuke?
Yeah.
Badass.
Takes 11 damage.
Okay. It does not like that at all. You are going to be taking 8 points of piercing damage, as well as 8 points of poison damage. Make a Constitution saving throw.
21?
Oh, yeah, you're fine. You're good. Totally good. So that is it for that creature's turn. Next up, Ulman.
No, you. This almost makes the spider room seem like a vacation. And he grabs himself and stabs into the creature.
Okay. Make an attack roll. Oh yeah, that'll hit. You will not have your sneak attack though, as it has just kind of singled you out on the edge.
Well, that means I do, because I have my swashbuckler.
Right!
Sneak attack.
Yes! I forgot you were all swishy swashy.
Thanks, Ham. Do I have the action to throw green flame blade on this, or
that would be a
I
bonus
use that
action.
up with the hellish rebuke?
Your hellish rebuke is a reaction. So that's fine.
Okay.
Green Flame Blade is a regular attack action, though. So you would have had to declare using Green Flame Blade first.
Cool. Then I'll just go ahead and make a second attack.
Okay.
But that's going to be 14 damage.
Okay. Pretty good. Alrighty.
13 to hit? 13 to hit?
13 is just enough what you needed. Roll for damage. Yes.
Just one.
Okay, just 1 point.
I don't get my dex to that second attack, right?
No.
Okay.
So, next up are all of them spiders. Hish, you were kind of at the other far end, a little bit ways from where Ulman was. So this giant spider is going to come out, and it is going to attempt to do a heckin' bite on you. So that is a natural 20.
No! It's just not like spider.
Okay. So, Hish, you are going to be taking 7 points of piercing damage, and then I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. Take that damage. Move my cat out of the way. That is a 12 plus 4.
Okay.
16.
Oh yeah, 16 totally passes. No worries there. Then it is the flood of spiders upon the ground. Albus, 2 of these swarms are going to swarm towards your legs and try and begin crawling up you and giving you all of the bites that they possibly can.
2 swarms?
Yes, 2 swarms of them. One is a 7 to hit. So all of these little spiders, apparently, it's like daddy long legs where their teeth just aren't sharp enough to actually do anything. And then the second is a 12 to hit.
Nope.
All right, so both of these swarms lashing out at you aren't able to actually cause you any harm. Then the 2 on Jill are going to attempt their actions. So, a 13 does not hit Jill because she's wearing very hefty armor. Does a 14 hit?
No.
Okay. So both of the swarms on her also fail. But Albus, you are currently covered in spiders. Jill is currently covered in spiders. Hish, you have a very large spider on you. And Ulman, you are fighting a spider-man. Not a Spider-Man, but fairly close.
Man spider.
Yes. So, with that, Hish, it is your turn.
Yay! Hish is going to where are the swarms of spiders in relation
to your left is Albus, or to your left would be Jill, and then on the other side of Jill is Albus. So it's 5 and then 10. And you also have this giant spider directly on you.
Okay. All right. Okay. I guess deal with the big one before the little ones. Yeah, he's going to unsheath his flame tongue scimitar and is going to try not to cry and is going to slash it out at it.
Okay.
It's a critical failure.
Tries not to cry. Cries a lot.
Cries a lot, covers his eyes, waves it around in front of him.
Okay. Sounds good. So, did you have a bonus action you would like to do?
Good question. I can do an offhand attack, right?
Yeah, you can just try and punch the spider right in his face.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and punch. Oh, let me punch. That is a 10 plus 7, 17.
Okay, 17 will hit. So then you deal the 1 point of bludgeoning damage from this.
Not 6?
It's 6 if it is your main attack. If you're using it as an offhand weapon, you don't get to add your strength modifier. I didn't think. Wait, no.
Boo.
Ulman, what's your strength? I can see it. That's why it was a singular one. So Hish, yeah, you do add your strength to it. That is my bad.
Okay.
Yeah. So you deal the 6 points. It reels back a little bit. It does not like what you have done to punch it. It doesn't understand why you're so afraid. It's just trying to make new edible friends. So that was your bonus action. That was your attack action. Albus, it is your turn.
You describe the room again.
So, describing the room, it is 20 feet from back to front, and then it is about 45 feet from side to side. There is debris that is littered to the right side and the left side, with a large stone altar that rests within the center. From where you guys had entered to your left as well, you can see that there is a flight of stairs leading downward.
Okay. Is there 5 feet of water in the room? Because like we're on a ship that we thought was sunk, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm making a something.
Okay.
What is that thing?
I would say for this, make a nature check.
Nature. 12.
Okay. You know, being from a sea village, or at least having found yourself living in a sea village for a while, wood as a buoyant property absorbs water into itself, so you know that while not necessarily 5 feet of water in a central location, if you were able to draw that water from the surrounding boards as well as the debris, you would be able to have that amount. It's just not in a concentrated place.
Okay. Now hear me out.
All right.
I am covered in spiders.
Absolutely covered. Head to toe.
Would I be able to use the shape water cantrip to get 5 feet of water to cover me and possibly drown those spiders, knowing that I can breathe water and would not drown?
Make another nature check.
18.
You know that suffocating anything in water will still take a while. So you know that if you surrounded yourself in this water bubble, it would just be then full of floating spiders or very soggy spiders still trying to hold on to your clothing. They wouldn't necessarily drown outright. It would still take some time, but you could do it.
I'm going to do it.
Okay. I like this plan.
For my action, I'm going to try to shape water and put Albus in a water bubble.
Okay. So I will mark that for the 2 swarms that they are currently underwater. I was not expecting today to go this way, but here we are.
So that's my action. For my bonus action, Hish looks like he's having trouble. Understanding that he might be very uncomfortable with this, given the last couple of sessions worth of information, Albus is going to reach into your mind and say, "Let me help." And you're going to get Galaxy Brain. So take a D6 of Bardic Inspiration.
Thank you.
All right. Sounds good. So next up is Jill. What is Jill doing in this? Besides just not having any of these fucking spiders.
Jill has a lot of spiders on her, but she's toughing it out. How's Man Spider looking?
Man Spider is looking rightly messed up. Ulman's initial reaction was the right reaction, and now he's kind of second guessing why he went after the one with the open shirt and not the kind of damp looking guy.
Okay. Can it make a wisdom save?
Certainly try. That is going to be a 6 because it is a negative to wisdom.
Well, that does not beat Jill's save of 15, so she's going to toll the dead.
Okay.
Well, that was dramatic. And we'll take 4 points of necrotic damage.
Sounds good.
That's her action. I don't. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Sounds good. Next up is this creature, is this man spider. And kind of holds its head a little bit as it hears the psychic, or it hears that personalized doom coming through, and it rears up and its eyes kind of look past you, Ulman, but then realize that you've also been doing quite a bit of damage to this, so it is going to try and then swipe and bite you again. So you get an 8 coming at you.
Negatory.
No, you're fine. And then the bitey, and that is going to be a modified 20.
Makes me wish I still had a shield spell, but yeah.
Okay. So, with the modified 20, you are going to be taking 5 points of piercing damage, and then 7 points of poison damage. And then I need you to make another Constitution save.
Modified 20.
Okay. Yeah, you're fine. All right. So then next up, Ulman, it is your turn.
Ulman's looking real rough. He just took 2 chomps straight to the neck. But he lunges at his foe with a flaming blade anyway. Modified 20.
Okay.
$11.
Okay. Sounds good. And then he does not have any other creatures in 5 feet. Is Green Flame Blade 5 or 10?
5.
Okay, yeah. So there's no place for it to currently leap.
I would also like to curse this man.
Yeah, you can totally curse him.
He doesn't have pupils, so I think he gets them? Like,
Gross.
he gains whites of eyes so that he can have irises and then therefore fully black pupils.
Oh, it's like you give him cataracts, but like specifically in those spots.
He just looks like he has little cartoony eyes now.
Yucky, I hate it.
Looks
Thanks.
a lot more friendly. Big old googly eyes.
I actually love the fact that you googly eyes this spider as this Spider-Man as a curse. I dig it. Next up is going to be the giant spider that is currently on you, Hish. And it is going to try and reach out and do a heckin' bite towards you. Actually, it is going to try and do the thing that spiders do best. It is going to attempt to web you. So that is a 19 to hit. All right, so you are currently restrained. So on your turn, you can try and make a strength check to bust free from the webs. But yes, currently it has you all bound up.
Hish isn't doing great with these spiders.
So speaking of all of them spiders, Albus, the ones that are on you are going to have disadvantage to try and nibble out towards you because you have surrounded yourself in water. So, well, that's a natural 1. I'm not going to roll the other dice because that's just redundant. So the first one fails. All of them are in the process of drowning. And to the rest of you, you just see Albus cover himself in water, and then that water steadily just becomes more filled with these small black bodies as spiders lose their grip on him. And a 9 also does not hit you, Albus. So then they are going to try and make... Yeah, so all of these spiders have now lost their grippies on you, but you are just this, like, surrounded in water, but it is just darkness from the sheer number of spiders that are currently drowning on you. Jill is going to get 2 swarms against her. One is going to be a modified 20 to hit.
Okay. Jill has a reaction, but give me that damage.
Okay. So, it is going to be... all of these. She's going to be taking 12 points of piercing damage.
So many. Okay. I'm using Wrath of the Storm
Okay.
because fuck that. Dex saving throw,
Okay.
please, for the spooder.
That's a 4.
Fuck you. It's D8, right?
Yeah, hers is D8.
Yeah. So that's 11 points of lightning damage to the swarm.
Holy shit. Okay. Yeah, so in that singular moment, you see half of that swarm just blast disappear off of Jill's person as she begins to vibrate with electricity.
Jill has become a bug zapper.
Oh, for sure. Second swarm is going to get a 14 to hit against her.
No.
Okay. That is all them swarmies can do. Next up, Hish. It's your turn. You are currently restrained by them webs.
You have inspiration.
Okay. So I'm gonna use my inspiration, and I'm gonna roll to flex out of these webs.
Okay.
Well, that was a natural 20.
Nice. So yeah, you just like Colonel or Lieutenant Armstrong from Full Metal Alchemist, like your muscles just for somehow get bigger and you flex out of these bonds that have been currently put upon you. So your action has been used. You are now currently free. You still have a bonus action. Should you use it?
Can I use my unarmed strike for the bonus action? I feel like I ask this every time.
You can use unarmed strike for your bonus action because we have ruled it as kind of fun, so why not?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. But I think using an offhand attack, you have to make a attack with your main hand first. So because you didn't use your attack action for your initial attack, you wouldn't be able to then do a paunch.
That's totally fine. Then I am satisfied with just getting out of these webs.
Okay, sounds good. Next up, Albus. As you are currently inside of a tiny sea of spiders.
God. Bonus action. I would like to use Healing Word at 2nd level on my bodyguard and buddy. So take 9 points. That's what I can do.
Everything helps.
Jill's coming up.
Yep.
And how's Big Ol' Spider looking?
Big Ol' Spider looks like absolutely nothing has happened to him.
Okay. I need it to make a strength save as I'm going to lash out at it with a lightning tentacle.
Okay, so its strength save is a 16.
That's my turn.
But roll me a D100.
Oh no. Oh no. I know what you're doing. I hate it. $99.
Excellent. Roll, what's your lightning lure's attack usually?
A D8.
Roll 2d8.
Let's do these boys. 8.
Okay, so the spiders that are currently drowning in the water around you, as the electricity leaves your body, it just cycles through the water, actually zapping all of the spider swarms that are on you for 8 points of damage.
Are they looking bad?
They are still maintaining most of their form.
I hate it.
But a significant number of them are dead. It's good, but now you're just like surrounded by these floating spider corpses instead of moving spiders. So take your pick. So next up is going to be Jill.
Where is Jill anywhere near Ulman and Ham?
Yes. Jill is about 10 feet away from them.
Okay. She is going over there, and how many hit points do you have? 60. Okay. She... For a bonus action, she's going to second level healing word you as well. So that's this guy and this guy. That's a second level spell slot. You get... What is this? Nine more points.
Respectable.
And for her action, she can't cast a spell, but she can... She has a Warhammer? She's going to attack with its Warhammer.
Alrighty.
Can she go after Man Spider?
Yeah, she can totally go after Man Spider. She will be provoking, or no, the spiders are currently on her. So yeah, she's fine.
I hate it. Does a 13 hit?
A 13 is just what you needed. Roll for damage.
Oh, great. Jill has a shield, right?
Yes.
So she wouldn't be able to do this two-handed.
No, it would just be a single-handed swing.
Okay, how does 9 points of damage look?
What does it look like when Jill just crushes this thing?
So she's like panicking, looking around, and she's like, I don't want to roleplay for KyleWithAnN, but it looks like she is like, I'm sorry, Ulman, I'm sorry, here, and heals you, and then gets rid of the thing that's in your way, just very businesslike, just like, yeah, okay, let's move on.
This is martial whiteout. Just remove it from the combat slate. All right, so that is Jill. Next up is Ulman, because the thing that used to go before you just got its brains beaten in.
I take a deep sip of that boy, regaining 5 HP.
Okay.
I cursed him. So.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, as this figure's head like snaps back from the force of this warhammer and his body falls on the ground, there is again this moment where you see his body kind of steaming, and then in the very same way where the steam seems to find Ulman's nose, he just kind of takes this very large breath in, and Ulman, you feel yourself heal for the 5 points.
There's not even time to question these things. And he runs at the large spider.
Okay. So as you go to rush to the large spider, the swarms that are on Jill are going to attempt to kind of like half move on to you as you run by her. And they are going to try and make their attacks. So the first one is a 9. Then the second one's a 7. So don't even worry about it, as you were.
Unfortunately, mine is not much better at an 8.
No, that does not hit the giant spider.
And now I'm engaged with a giant spider.
Yes, you are. So, then next up are the swarms that are on Jill still. And they are going to try and make their attacks. Modified 20 does hit. But the 14, I'm pretty sure, does not. So 1 hit towards Jill. which would be for 9 points of piercing damage.
She's gonna use Wrath of the Storm again.
Okay.
Dex save.
That is a 7.
Okay, that's 2 more D8. I'm looking at this character sheet, and I'm like, why can't my modifiers be like this? That's going to be 7 points of lightning damage.
Okay, sounds good. It seems like that swarm is not able to hold on nearly as well as it had been. She is fine. So then the second swarm that is on her is going... Or no, the second swarm wasn't able to. Right. So then next up are the 2 remainers that are currently drowning, doing their best trying to strike out at you, Albus. But a 4 doesn't hit. Yeah, because that was at disadvantage, and then the second one is a natural 1. So these spiders are just trying their best, but you've zapped them pretty good, as well as the whole drowning thing kind of blows. But because they are all floating and trying to do their heckin' best, both of them actually continue drowning. They rolled a natural 1 and an 8 in terms of their constitution to actually maintain it, so they are that much closer to their own watery graves. Next up, Giant Spider, which... Ulman, you have rushed up and tried to make a show of yourself, and this creature looks at Hish, who just, strengthened their way out of the webs, and it looks over at you, and it is going to continue, it is actually going to try and strike out at Hish still, mostly because it is trying to get rid of what it perceives as the bigger threat. That is a natural 20 on this spider once again. So that is going to be for 10 points of piercing damage.
All right.
And then make a Constitution save.
You got it. There's a 16 plus 4. That's a 20.
Yeah, you're fine on that. You feel that there is a bit of poison trying to course its way through your veins, but... Man, you've had beers stronger than
Flex
this.
it right back
oh
out.
Yeah, everything you do is flexing. All right, so that is all it was able to do. Hish, it is your turn.
All right. Hish is going to try again, and he's going to lunge forward and stab with his scimitar, his flaming scimitar. Oh, yay, that's a 19 plus 7.
Okay, yeah, you totally hit. Roll for damage.
What is my damage?
What is your damage?
What is your damage? Okay, so that's 2 plus 7, 9 slashing damage, and 4 fire damage.
Okay. It seems to rear back from this fire damage. It does not like the fact that you have this flaming weapon that you are throwing in front of its face. Chances are, it has not seen fire as a general thing for quite some time. It might have forgotten about it. It only has 2 intelligence. Next, did you have a bonus action you would like to do?
Yes, actually. Hish is going to take after finally hitting this spider, he's going to take a very deep breath, and I'm going to use second wind to gain back some HP.
Okay.
So that's 6 plus 4. 10 back for me.
Sounds good. Next up, Albus.
I'm gonna try to lightning mode the spider again.
Okay. So strength
that's
save?
strength save.
Yep. That is a 21.
For my bonus action, I would like to first level healing word Jill.
Okay.
Healing word. Cool. Where's my die? Where's my die? Where's my die? Okay, so that's 6 points.
Okay.
Hey, that's it.
Sounds good. Next up is Jill.
Jill is going to try to go after the big boy. First off, how bad is it looking?
The big boy's looking very bad off.
Very bad off?
Yes.
Okay, she's just going to go after it with her warhammer. No, she's not. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. What does a 18 look
That'll
like?
totally hit. Roll for damage.
For 9 points of damage.
This is on the big boy?
Yeah.
All right. So you see Jill just like, she is power business walking. Like if you've ever seen somebody walking down the hall and they're on their way to a meeting, this is the Jill. I don't have time for any other questions. And she levels up her warhammer, shield up, and just uses her full body's momentum, spiders falling off of her, to just clock this creature right in the center of its head. As he watches its skull just sort of caves in, its exoskeleton breaking, and the body just sinks flat against the ground, no longer moving. And she has, again, just spiders falling off of her. Just, will somebody do something about these? And then, does she have a bonus action?
Her bonus action is to... What can she do? Bonus action, bonus action, bonus action. I should have looked this up. She's going to healing word herself
Okay.
at first level. That's not first level. Yeah, it is. Okay. I can't cast spell. Okay. Okay. What is my system? Okay, so she's going to get... no, 8 points back.
Sounds good.
16 plus 8. 24. 24, yeah.
Alrighty. Next up, Ulman. Big ol' spiders down. The only spiders that are remaining are the majority of the dead ones, or of the still alive ones that are floating in Albus's watery sphere, or the ones that are on Jill.
I can't blast my friends. And I can't stab my friends. I don't think I could stab at spiders on my friends.
I've seen your young god stats. You can certainly try, just don't roll a nat 1.
Fine. I think Ulman like goes up to Jill and like looks really nervous and tries to like delicately cut along them to chop at spiders and try not to cut them.
Okay.
13 to hit?
Yeah, 13 totally hits. Roll for damage.
Does this count as flanking?
Yeah. You definitely have an ally within 5 feet.
Max damage, actually. 20.
All right. Well, an entire swarm of spiders is no longer on the face of this earth. As you delicately, it's like the Euro slice, like when they have those giant shanks of meat and they're just able to get that really thin line down the side. That is you just cutting away all of these spiders from Jill.
I think as he goes, it like speeds up and he just... great. Done.
Okay. Do you have a bonus action you would like to use?
No.
Sounds good. So, next up is going to be the remainder of the swarm. So one swarm is going to try and, again, just sink their little teeths into Jill with a 18.
18 just hits.
Okay. And that will be for 6 points of piercing damage.
Okay. Dex save.
Okay. That is a 6.
Hew. I'm gonna roll some lightning damage. 10 points of lightning damage.
Okay. So with that, Jill just sort of lets out an exasperated as electricity again just kind of covers her body very quickly, and in doing so, all of the spiders that were on her are now just sort of crinkled little piles along the ground. They're smoldering, as they were a little wet from just being on this ship, and the electricity seems to have fried them well enough. But Jill no longer has spiders on her. Albus, the spiders that are on you are going to make their last-ditch effort to try and bite you. No. Does a 16 hit?
Yes.
Okay. The one little group finally managed to do what they needed to do. And they are going to deal 13 points total.
Albus is down.
Okay. So Albus drops. The sphere of water and spiders around him also drops. And the second group of spiders is then going to, that was on Albus previously, no, they had already failed their attack. That's fine. So that is all that they can do. Hish, it is your turn. You have seen Albus drop after creating a small pool of spiders for himself to live in over the last several rounds.
All right. I think Hish, hearing Albus drop to the ground, turns.
You just hear like him scream out, but it's just like a bubble, and then it's off. Yeah,
because he's screaming underwater.
Oh no, gross.
That spider might have gotten into his mouth.
Oh, icky.
I was gonna ask. I think Hish actually, he turns, pauses for half of a second looking at Albus, and then runs to kneel down next to him. And listen, I don't know if potions can work this way, but he's going to take a potion of healing out of his bag and see if he can pour it into Albus's mouth.
Oh yeah. In the way that I run games, you can always use your action to heal an unconscious party member with a health potion. That's no worries.
Yay. So yeah, that's what Hish is gonna do.
Okay. So roll 2d4 plus 2. This is standard health potion.
Do I have any D4 with me? Albus, do you want to roll those?
Sure.
He has a separate container for specifically those.
Ah! I love that.
5 plus 2. 7.
Okay. So, Albus, you have heard the scholars. You have heard the scholars in Waterdeep and Neverwinter speculate that over the course of a year, a humanoid will swallow anywhere between 1 and 10 spiders. And you believe that you have just swallowed 2 of those potential 10 right now as this healing potion brings you back to life. And Hish is looking over you, having helped you. So,
Are there still spiders?
there are still spiders.
I hate it.
Hish, you still have a bonus action. Should you should you so choose to use one?
My only other bonus action was my I am not choosing to make a bonus action.
Sounds good.
I do have a question though. Chat brought up an interesting point. I did have to touch Albus.
In order to use the potion?
on him.
Yep. Yes, you did. What a great
Am
time.
I okay?
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Okay, we'll come back to
Indoor.
that later.
Indoor.
Nothing immediately takes effect, which is better than what you've heard of other things.
Mhm. All right. Cool.
I'm so sorry if something comes out of that.
No, I'm excited. I'm excited for it. Half terrified, half excited.
All right, so Albus, it is your turn.
I want to lightning lord the spiders.
Okay,
I need a strength save.
that's a 3.
Damn right.
Wait, sorry.
Spiders.
That's a 0.
I fucking hit with a cantrip.
Yay!
So that's 4 points of lightning damage.
Okay.
Are you still alive?
Yes.
Okay, they're moved 15 feet toward me. But they are also cursed by the sea.
Okay.
And then I am healing myself with the healing word.
Okay, sounds good. So, it is now Jill's turn.
Jill is going to toll the dead on whatever swarm is looking healthier.
Okay.
6. Okay. So I need a wisdom save.
Okay, sounds good. So that is a 14.
No,
Okay.
it does not succeed. It takes 7 points of necrotic damage.
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah, it looks like at this point the majority of this swarm.
They have taken damage, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, the majority of this swarm, like both of these swarms, have greatly been reduced in number. Then next up, Ulman. And you can see that these two swarms collectively are just sort of around Albus's personage from where he had collapsed this watery container around himself.
My first instinct was, I should go belly flop on them.
Make an unarmed attack, should you so choose.
If you get spiders in your belly button, I will not help you.
Oh god, why would you put that into the universe? I don't want spidery bellies.
You're muted, Reeves.
You're muted, sire.
I said I'm going to be playing 5-finger fillet, except instead of fingers, they're spiders, and I'm trying to hit them around Albus.
Okay.
17?
Yeah, that'll totally hit. Roll for damage.
It's a 16 damage.
Okay. Yeah, so very much just very quickly, you just stab the entirety of this swarm of spiders, creating almost like a kebab number of layers of spiders on your blade that you can just kind of shunt off at a later time.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, but there seems to be only half of one of the original swarms that are left. It is that little swarm's turn. And Ulman, as you have been had to kneel down to kind of stab at all of these, they are going to try and make an attack against you for 13.
No.
That is it. That is all that they have for their turn. Hish, it is your go.
Yeah, I think Hish is going to, following Ulman's lead, just kind of pivot from where he is helping Albus and start like bringing his scimitar down and trying to chop these spiders.
Okay, make an attack roll.
That is a 10 plus 7.
Oh, that totally hits.
Yay. So that's 9 slashing damage. And then 6 fire damage.
Okay, Hish gets his vengeance on all of these spiders. You managed to clear out this last little half horde, this little mini swarm. As far as you guys can tell, as soon as your blade is done just swishing around, there do not seem to be any other spiders currently coming to get you. You can just hear the sounds of the ship kind of rocking in the water, and you know that it's leaning more towards the left-hand side. The port side.
Ulman looks over at you, Hish, with wide eyes, and is like, I thought falling into the pigsty was the most disgusting thing I could be covered in at one point in my life. He, like, looks at the knife covered in spiders and flicks them off and, like, hastily grabs a rag and starts to clean the blade. But this takes the cake.
Hish has this 1,000-yard stare that is just drilling into the floorboards of this ship. And he goes, that is single-handedly the worst thing I have ever had to do.
That chest had better be on this ship.
You can say that again. And he sort of gets up and like wipes off his blade and sheathes it and says, okay. From now on, somebody, I vote not me, has to check the room for spiders first before we go inside.
I can do that. That sounds like a job for me.
You are the bravest man I've ever known.
Someone's gotta, and, well, figured I'd get it over with.
Yeah, I think at this point Hish is gonna look around, and I think he's gonna finally take like a good look at that altar that you had mentioned earlier.
Oh,
And he's gonna point it and go, "What is that?"
that's not good news. That's I don't know many gods, but that's Lolth, if I'm correct.
Who is?
The Queen of Spiders.
There's a god whose thing is just spiders.
Yeah, and she has like spider people, and they all live underground in the place down there. I read one book on it in our library.
What the fuck are they if they live underground? What the fuck are they doing on my ship? This
Well,
ship.
the worshippers could be anywhere. That just the people that are hers are underground.
I hope this entire thing just lets you know my feelings toward the gods have just gotten so much worse. Indoor, is there a way that I would be able to shape water and like what sort of material is the altar made of?
The altar itself is made out of a very basalt kind of stone. It's very dark, rich texture. It's slightly porous, from what you can tell.
Okay, so it is porous. Can I
Yes.
shape water to saturate the altar with water?
Yeah.
Okay. And then once it is like all saturated, can I use frostbite to freeze the water inside and hopefully like just erode the altar?
Make an Arcana check.
God, I hope so.
7.
So you feel it beginning to freeze, but it doesn't seem to want to necessarily break entirely apart. As you are causing these fractures and breaks on it, to everybody else, it looks like you are breaking down the structure the way that it was intended. But for a brief moment, as the spell is taking effect, you see that one of the cracks winding up, ends up kind of having a more natural curl to it, and for a brief moment you see it actually careen into a spiral form, and then that part actually breaks away. But other than that, it seems like most of this is actually taking effect. Another frostbite spell and you'd be able to completely...
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. So
Fuck this.
yeah, after a second time, the entire altar just collapses and tumbles down onto the ground.
Is that's not gonna bring more spiders? Is it?
I sure hope not.
Because we kind of just wrecked her shit. So.
Did you see the number of spiders that we literally just went up against?
My concern is that there's going to be more.
Then we burn the ship. We burn the ship, say fuck the job, we go home.
Okay, so Albus was going to do this whether or not, regardless of the effect of this conversation, but like, would he know if desecrating this altar would lessen Law's influence on this?
Make a religion check.
11 plus 3, 14.
You aren't sure. You know that Lolth is a very vengeful god. And in terms of actually watching her followers, from what you've been able to gather, she actually does so more than other deities. So you aren't confident in possibly having lessened her influence or have just earned her ire.
Cool.
Well,
Hish.
go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Hish shakes his head and says, "We are absolutely not getting paid enough for this. Let's go."
Let's find that chest.
Okay. Sounds good. So, in the corner of the room, there is a stairwell that leads down. And Hish, you would know that that stairwell would lead typically into the galley. This room that you were in was sort of like just a general meeting room that wasn't outside. So you were sure that now it's been turned into this altar to Lolth. You aren't really sure what kind of thing would lay below on the second deck, but from what you remember, it was the galley. So you guys going down those stairs?
Yeah, we'll check there first.
All right, sounds good. So as you end up going into this room, as you come on down the stairs, looking around, judging from the stone along one wall of this room, this was once the galley. Now the area is cluttered with bones and debris. There are badly damaged metal knives and other cookware that hang from the hooks in the ceiling. And while there is a choking stench of rotting flesh that fills the air. And you see that over everything, in this room. Very tiny spiders just seem to be crawling. And as you all kind of come down and make your way into this room, they almost seem to try and disappear into the shadows of your vision.
That's foreboding.
They seem a lot less menacing when not around the statue.
Do we see the source of the rotting flesh stench?
Make a perception check.
Stop rolling you. 16.
That's 12 plus 5, 17 for Hish.
7.
Okay, so Ulman, you are too busy having an internalized conversation with Ham about why this doesn't smell nice. This is a bad smell. Whereas Hish, you and Albus, as you are looking around this room, you end up finding that on the tables of the galley that there are what look to be like hunks of meat that are laid out, and they, again, are very old, very fetid at this point. And as you look at it, it doesn't look like any kind of animal that you're familiar with.
Is this long pig?
Albus, you of all of out of anybody would actually be able to recognize this. You are fairly certain this is long pig, also known as man, the most dangerous game.
No.
And Hish, what was your perception score?
17.
Okay. You actually find that kind of nearish the table, on the floor, open so that way its spine is kind of almost broken out. There seems to be a very worn and tattered journal.
Oh, I thought you meant a very different spine.
No. No, so you just see that there is this book, and you remember that this book was used, like, you've seen this before. It's been honestly years since you've actually seen this book of this style, but this was used as a kind of crewman's log for the members of the Iron Duke.
Yeah, Hish sort of crinkles his nose and pulls his shirt up more over his face, and he's gonna just silently kneel down and start flipping through the journal.
Okay. And so you see notes, very old notes from when you were actually a part of this crew. And as you flip through, there is a point where the notation stops, and you see written as a header, day 1. And Albus, as you are kind of taking in this full view of what you would expect to have in front of you, this kind of butchery for long pig, as we have determined it to be. Hish, as you're reading it, you see that the journal seems to pick up with another survivor of the maelstrom that you had gotten caught in. And based off of reading it, you find out that the majority of your crew actually survived the maelstrom. They, if anything, they all believed that you were the one who had actually gotten sucked down into the ocean, never to be seen again. You see that there are names of your crew members that are listed. There was Kavir, who was a human. There was Cross, who was a Kenku. Aiden, another human. Delina, half-elf. Bones, the goblin. And then there was Ishta, who was a humanoid that was always seen wearing very heavy wraps around themselves. Never liked to be out during the daylight. And then there was Krell, who was very quiet and kind of a newer member onto the crew. Another half-orc similar to you. And then, of course, there was the quote-unquote captain of Sharktooth Salvador. which was more of a title that you remember being circulated around, and this seems to be being written by one of the current captains. And it states that after the wreck, they end up actually getting washed up on shore with their ship, with the remains of their ship as well, on this small unknown island. That they weren't sure how far away they were from the Sword Coast, but it seemed very, almost like an oasis in the middle of a desert. It was a perfect place. It was very warm, where otherwise you would expect it to be kind of a colder temperament. And there were locals that were on this island as well. There seemed to be humans, goblins, orcs, half-orcs that all seemed to live on this island. And as you read through that, you see that then it says day 5. And as you're reading day 5, there have been disagreements between the crew as to what to do in terms of dealing with the locals. Do you try and get them to repair your ship? Do you try and convince them to come back to the mainland with you? Or do you just sort of take on this islander mentality? And as you flip through, it seems like, again, there's more of this discussion, and the author is giving you their side of the story, believing that we should try and get them to repair the ship. There are plenty of natural resources here. Why wouldn't we be able to do that? And on day 12, as you were reading it, you see that that it's noted that Delina, the half-elf crew member, has gone missing, and nobody knows what happened. When they ask the crew, the crew doesn't really seem to know. When they ask the tribespeople, they just say that she wandered off into the forest, and they haven't seen her since. And then that seems to be really the only mention of it. There seems to be a few questioning bits here and there for the next 4 days. And then on day 16, you see in a note that Krell, the new crew member that you had, the quiet one, seems to be spending more time with the locals. And on that same day, another crew member goes missing. This time Cross, the Kenku. Day 39, another crew member goes missing. This time Ishta, the one who was always in wraps. Day 88, another crew member goes missing. And others have gone missing as well. And for all of the time that the author has spent on this island, they haven't seen any boars. They haven't seen any cattle. They haven't seen any sources where meat could potentially come from. And yet there is always meat that is available on the table for them during these feast days. And it's much juicier than fish would be, but the residents, these crewmen, are so hungry that they seem to not really consider much of it.
Indoor?
Yes.
What the fuck?
On day 179, more crew member goes missing. On day 200, they now know where the meat is coming from. And it explains that they were trying to actually... that the author of this book was actually running away from this point. They had gone into the woods to investigate later at night. Krell ended up leading this charge, actually. This former crewman of yours, he seemed to have been completely acclimated into this group of islanders that seemed to revere and worship spiders as gods. And on day 206, it stops being a observational journal, and it starts being a more of a play-by-play. And you read that the crewmen, the remainders from your shift, while you were serving on the Iron Duke, that the ones that did not acclimate themselves and are still together all locked themselves in the galley of the Duke. And you see that there is a note that says that fuck Krell is leading them. And then you see that there is the last entry, day 208. And it says, if anyone reads this, let it be known that the true name of Sharktooth Salvador was I, and then you see that it's going up into an S, and then it breaks, and you see the last entry is they are breaking in. And that is the last mark that is actually in this book that you find.
Oh.
And Albus, you have just seen Hish just very quickly flipping through this book that they have found.
Okay, so as to not make any noise, I'm going to speak to you telepathically. Should we keep looking? Are you okay?
I think Hish has been flipping through these pages faster and faster, and he doesn't even hear your first communication. And then when you ask if he's okay, he looks up at you, and there's a weird look on his face, and he looks like he's about to cry. And he sort of sits back on his heels. And the only thing he thinks back to you is just no. Keep looking around.
Okay. Jill, can you stay with Hish?
And you see Jill is actually rifling around in some of the refuse piles that are off to the side. And she pulls out a small brown burlap satchel, little pouch, and just kind of tosses it in her hand, looks in, and goes up to you, Hish, and says, "How much do you think these are worth?" And hands you this satchel. And as you look inside, you see that there's a set of 10 rubies that are actually inside of this satchel. And she says, "Hordes person, I will leave it up to you to decide what exactly we do with this. Is everything all right?"
Hish tucks the book into his bag and stands up and says, "Fine. I'll handle the rubies." And he also puts it away in his bag and says, "I would be careful, all three of you. The ship was hit by cannibals and worshippers of Lolth, obviously.
Cannibals, Ulman whips up and is like, "See? Bad."
And
Sorry, keep going.
Jill looks at you with this very sussed look that KyleWithAnN does so perfectly and I cannot replicate for the life of me, and just says, "How do you know they were cannibals?"
He goes, "I found the captain's log." Just kind of curtly nods and says, "I can't actually confirm that this ship is empty anymore. So
And
be on your guard."
And as you tell everybody to be on their guard, that is where we are going to go for our break for the evening. So I would like to say thank you to everybody who decided to stick with us through this spider-infested ghost ship. We are going to try and be back in 5 to 10 minutes. So don't go no place unless it is to grab a food, grab a drink, grab a friend, or possibly go to bit.ly/adventure merch, pick yourself up something nice, or consider leaving a review or a comment in the description of this video or audiocast below. I actually really get a kick out of reading all of your guys' reactions to the bullshit that goes on each and every week. So make my day and possibly leave a review, because I share it with everybody whenever it happens. So we're going to try and be back in 5 to 10 minutes. Don't go no place. We'll see you guys soon. All right, everybody. Bye-bye. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a totally not spider-filled ghosty ship episode here on Team Salt Bay, the Ghost of Saltmarsh Acquisitions Incorporated inspired game. It's good times. So, Hish, you just learned that the survivors of the shipwreck were the targets of cannibalism, except for one crew member in particular that seemed to have actually joined with the locals and found that eating people was actually kind of up his alley. It seemed like a thing he could get in on. So, yeah, you have found that book. You have also found a satchel containing what looked to be 10 small rubies. And looking around this room, you see that at the front-facing side of this room, there is a door that leads deeper into the actual belly of the ship. But Hish, having spent time on this ship and actually knowing its layout, you know that there is a trap door that is in the galley that will actually lead you down into the cargo hold, which is typically where you and your crew would put things like lock boxes. And you remember actually being one of the strong crew members that had helped set this lockbox down there. As regardless of the number of people that were carrying it, it is so heavy that you know that it actually reduced your movement to be able to carry it. Single-handedly, it was very difficult, even with you and Krell kind of working this lockbox together. It was still actually a very difficult time. But you know where the cargo hold is. You know where you believe this treasure to be.
Yeah, I think he takes another look around and swallows, and then yeah, starts looking around for the trap door.
Okay, sounds good. So without really much hassle, you are able to get the trapdoor. You have to move some refuse away. And as you are getting closer to the ground, you can see that there are bloodstains that just sort of seem to have been rather old, seeped into the wood. But you're kind of able to put two and two together as to where these bloodstains potentially came from. And as you open the door to this cargo hold down below, you can see that there is a decent bit of water that exists on the base, very similar to your guys' bilge. But looking in, make a perception check.
Yeah, I think as he opens it and peeks inside, he also like waves Ulman over and says, can I get a spider check?
Yeah, I'll be right there. Whew. Right.
It's
okay, and then he comes over.
That's a 10 plus 5, 15.
Okay, so looking around, you see the box that you have been contracted to get. It is a very nice blue finish on this steel container that is actually engraved with the letter A upon it. From your experience, people who usually brand initials on things of some sort consider themselves to be very important. You don't remember the name of the man that you took this from, but it probably started with an A. But yeah, as you look down in it, you see that maybe about 30 feet in, past the second mast pole that is still part of the ship, you actually take note of where of where this box is. And with your 15 as well, you see that this deck runs the length of the ship, and that there are no bulkheads or any other kinds of structures, and that there is a dark, murky seawater that fills it to a depth of about 3 feet. So you know this box is also taller than its 3. And sloshing against old, moldering crates piled against the ship's porthole. So along the left-hand side is just where all of these boxes are just semi-submerged in the water. And Ulman, you are going in first?
Sure am.
Okay. So you descend down into the cargo hold, and with Hish's help, you can kind of spot where the crate is. So perception check to try and see where there might be spiders laying in wait.
That's a 23.
Okay. With a 23, you do not actually see any spiders hanging up in corners. It doesn't seem like there are any 8-legged friends in one way or particular laying in wait as far as you can see down this hallway. Which, do you have dark vision?
Negatory, I would have to have a torch.
That is all right. There's still a little bit of light that is shining through this opening, this trap door down into the cargo hold. And with your 23, what you see is that there are, even amongst this very dark, brackish seawater, you see that there are 4 shapes beneath the water that seem to be making their way towards you rather quickly.
We've got 4 bogeys in the water, but not spiders.
Hish looks up at Albus and Jill and says, "That's our cue," and jumps down into the hole.
Okay. So yeah, you jump down into the hole. Make an athletics check to jump down as you're landing in 3 feet of water, which is going to kind of throw off your balance.
That is a 12 plus 7.
Okay, yeah, you managed to jump down totally fine.
Yay.
Jill and Albus are going in after.
Okay, so Albus, as you are descending down and Jill is on her way down as well, we're going to use the same initiative tracker as we did last time because it's been so short. Also, I would like to apologize because Albus, your initiative was a 17 and I had it marked down as a 7. So that is why I was having you go so late in the round. You were supposed to have been going first through the majority of that. So your initiative is a 17 moving forward because that is the number that you rolled that I wrote down poorly. So I've rewritten it to make it more legible for me. Sounds good. And there we go. So at the top of the round is Albus. What is your dexterity? 2. Okay. So, Ulman, as you are standing at the base within the water, kind of up to around your upper thigh, as you are a rather tall boy, you see that one of these dark forms actually zips very close to you, and leaping up out of the water is this very gaunt-looking face. It seems like it is waterlogged, so it's a little bit soppy. There's this long tongue that extends down from its mouth, and you can see that it has these long, nasty-looking claws that it just brings up into this wide lurch out of the ground and is going to attempt to try and bring them down onto you.
Can I have been readied with a blast if I knew that?
Oh yeah,
the shapes
if you
were coming
saw
at
these
us?
forms zipping close to you, I would say that you could definitely have ready to blast.
Cool. 16?
A 16 will totally hit. Roll for damage.
Takes 7 to the chest
Okay.
as he lunges at me.
Sounds good. It does not like that at all, but it does not hinder its attack in any way. So it is going to try and use its claws against you. That is a natural 1. It actually seems like this Force Blast did deter it. As it's leaping up out of the water, it just gets blasted in the chest, and you see it kind of falter off to the side and almost submerge itself fully back in the water, but you can see that it levels at about half of its face, and there is only this very vacant-looking white eye glaring at you.
Take that,
Okay.
freak.
Albus, it is your turn. And you can see that this creature is just lunged out of the water, tried to attack Ulman. But Ulman was hip fire ready and managed to stop this creature and its advances. But you see that there are 3 other shapes in the water that are making their way towards your crew.
Okay, I want to get one of the ones that has been, as of yet, unaccosted and get it to make a Constitution save.
Sounds good. So that is a 9.
It's going to take 4 points of cold damage
Ooh.
if I hit it with Frostbite. And it has disadvantage on the next weapon attack roll it makes.
Okay.
And it is cursed by the sea.
Sounds good.
One of these days, that's going to mean something.
All right. So
Bonus action. Ulman. Galaxy Brain. Take a d6.
Thank you. And did we short rest?
you guys had not.
Okay. Cool.
Yes. So then next up is going to be Ulman.
I think he just like kind of seeks in the water and like, well, someone without a fishing pole goes after his prey.
Okay.
just dives in to stab at one. $21?
21 totally hits. Roll for damage. And is this the same one that had accosted you?
Yeah, I think I go right back after.
All right, got it.
Uh, 17.
Okay. Yeah, 17 damage. It's pretty good. It is not dead, but it is not looking good. So, did you have a bonus action you would like to do?
No, I'm good.
Okay, sounds good. Next up is going to be Hish.
Can you orient me in the room again?
So you guys have come towards the come into the cargo hold at the rear of the ship. So facing north, about 30 feet on the left-hand side is where you know that the crate you were looking for is. About 10 feet in front of you is where Ulman is, and he's currently just stabbing down at this nasty figure that seemed to have leapt out of the water to try and assail him. And you can see that off in the distance as well, that there are 3 of these shadowed shapes that are coursing their way through the water, making their way towards you. One of them was the target of a spell by Albus, who is able to more identify as to where it is.
With my dark vision, and I think Hish is going to use all of his movement to walk towards these 3 figures. Would I be able to see them in the water?
Seeing
more
them,
than just like their shadowy shape?
More than just so their shadowy shape. Make a perception roll.
10 plus 5, 15.
Okay. Yeah, so with your 15, you can see that they have almost like a humanoid shape, and much in the same way that Oceanus will swim through the water. You see that they are also just gliding through, but rather than moving their bodies in this more fish-like pattern, you see them actually crawling along the ground very quickly. And they are medium-sized, and these three are making their way towards you.
Yeah. Yeah, Hish uses all of his movement to walk towards them, and he's going to use his scimitar to stab down into the water at whichever one he gets near first.
Okay. Would you like to make a ready attack, or are you just like trying to like rush out and stab?
Actually, that's the better idea. I'm going to make a ready attack.
Okay, sounds good. So you're readying your action to stab in case the inevitable happens and one of them tries to stab at you. So next up is 3 of these creatures. So the one that got frostbit is going to make its way up towards you, Hish. And you see that it leaps out of the water and is actually going to try and bite you.
At disadvantage.
Yes, at disadvantage. Which is going to be a 21 to hit.
Wow, yeah.
It rolled really well. All right,
That'll do it.
With its bite, it is going to deal 18 points of piercing damage. Okay. Next up, one of the ones courses by you, Hish, and courses by Ulman as well. And you see it then leap up towards Albus in the back, seeing as how there is a weaker looking one. Albus, it is going to attempt to try and bite you as it comes up.
Better not!
Does a 13 hit?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. So yeah, it goes to bite out, and luckily, you are one with the water. What a chump this little fucker turned out to be, trying to leap out and do some fishy bullshit towards you.
Y'all, my AC is 14.
Oh boy. So that is one towards Hish. That is one towards Albus. Hish, there is the 4th one of this group is going to make its way towards you, and it is going to try and claw out actually towards you.
Okay.
And that is a 19 to hit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that is a total of 10 points of slashing damage.
Great.
Make a
Do I
Constitution
get to
save.
use my... Okay. That is an 18
Okay.
plus 4.
You're good. Your ready to action also triggers, correct?
Yes.
To do the attack. Okay, so that would have happened to the first guy that swam out and tried to get you. So make your attack. We'll do all of that, Yaz. You are still getting harried by the second one, regardless of what happens.
I figure. Yeah, Hish, as it's coming down to bite him, I think simultaneously he's trying to slash up at it. 10 plus 7. Does a 17 hit?
Oh, yeah. 17 hits most things.
Yay! So 1 plus 7, that's 8 slashing damage, plus, I don't know if this will do any good, but 2 fire damage.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, so that one has been slashed, and there are still 2 very healthy looking ones, one of which is directly on Albus, the other of which is on you, Hish. Next up, Jill.
Jill is going to... What can she do? Okay. So she's in the back, right?
She is.
Like,
she was at the top of the trapdoor when all of this began going on.
Oh no, she jumped in the water with Albus.
Oh, okay. I thought that you guys were descending the ladder rather than Albus risking a 15-foot jump into water.
Right. So they were descending at the same time.
Yes.
So if Albus is in the water.
Albus is now in the water. Jill was still making her way down the stepladder.
Okay. Cool. How many of them would be within a, say, 15-foot cube?
A 15-foot cube? You could get 3 of them, but Hish would also be in that cube.
What about if we didn't need Hish in the cube?
2.
Which ones of those would it be?
The ones that are on Hish, so you would just place it slightly behind.
Okay, yeah, she's going to do that as she casts Shatter, which is a 2nd level spell.
Okay.
I need a save of some... I can't cast. I need a Constitution save.
Okay, that is a 14 and a 6.
Both of those fail.
Okay.
So that's 3d8 thunder damage. I want to channel Divinity.
Okay, so that does max.
Yes. This is the Destructive Wrath channel Divinity.
Okay, so
3d8, that's
24.
24.
Yeah.
And they're pushed, right? From Shatter. Okay, things break.
Yes, they do. And you are in the bottom of the ship. So, as this shatter is cast, one of these ghasts completely just is torn to pieces, no longer able to hold his form. The other one kind of rears back a little bit as he gets hit by this blast, and then you hear a breaking sound. And then
could that have been angled like up?
Jill is smart enough that she would know better than to break it below. But you still hear a cracking sound as you look over and you see that one of the masts inside of this ship is just bent inward. But yes, that could have ended very poorly. So, one of those creatures is dead, though. Yay, Jill, your body count when you're not here is fucking ridiculous. And when she is here. It started with the weasels. So, then next up is this creature that was on you, Ulman. And it is going to try and... it's going to try and slash out against you with its claws.
Try me.
Well, it tried it, and it wasn't able to do the thing. So that's a 10 to hit. I'm assuming doesn't actually do anything.
I think I'm just holding it slightly underwater with my shield, and it's just trying to flail up at me.
Okay. Make a Constitution save as you begin your turn. As being so close to this thing, like, even Ham is like, I would not eat that. I have eaten things like this before. It is not good.
12?
Okay, 12 is still good. You are not poisoned, which is a plus. What would you like to do? Or, sorry, it's not your turn yet. Albus, I need you to also make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. Constitution?
Yes.
16.
16, you're good. It is your turn. Because again, 17, not the 7 that I wrote down initially. So it is your go, and then it will be Ulman's.
Okay. Is the, oh god. So first off, I do want to point out that I was trying to cast Thunder Wave, not Shatter. But anyway. Albus, all 3 of them still up?
3 of them are still up, yes. There's the one
Okay.
that is directly on you. There is one that is over by Ulman, and now there is a singular one that is on Hish versus the 2 that were on them before.
Is that the one that was frostbitten?
Yes.
Great. I need to make a strength save. I'm going to cast Lightning Lure.
Natural 20.
Fuck.
What does its Curse of the Sea thing do?
Well, I have to hit it with another thing after I hit it with the cantrip.
Got it. I see.
I can't hit something 2 times in a row. That's my thing.
That's the Curse of the Sea.
That's just my curse. I really don't want to give Hish another galaxy brain because you touched me.
But does Albus know that he was touched?
Yes, because he woke up. That's going to be it.
Sounds good. So, Ulman, it is your turn. We went through the rigmarole of having you roll the con save. It was fine. Rest of your turn, there is a badly beaten Gasty boy.
I would like to try to finish him off
Okay.
with a 21 to hit.
Oh, that'll totally work. Roll for damage.
$14.
Okay. So with a 14, what does it look like as you deliver this undead's final moments?
I've still got it pushed vaguely underwater, and I just pull the shield down a bit, exposing its face, and I plunge the blade into its head and pull it back out swiftly.
Alrighty.
And then I try to get around to flank the other one with Hish. Or actually, no, I would go run and flank the one with Albus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sounds good. So next up, Hish. You have one of these creatures on you. You just watched as Jill extended a hand outward, or I guess in this case, like clacked her warhammer against her shield, as this metallic sound rang out and just obliterated one of these creatures. The symbol on the back of her hand glue a little bit.
I have a question.
Yes, I hopefully have an answer.
Would Hish in some way possibly recognize who this is?
The creatures that you're fighting?
Mm-hmm.
You do. You most certainly recognize the faces and names of each of the creatures that you're fighting here. It seems like they, in the creation of whatever undead that they have become, they died in a way that was unbecoming of them. Which you're assuming had to do, cannibalism. Spiders.
Hish, for his turn, stops and stares at this creature in front of him, and he stops fighting.
Okay. Sounds good. So Hish, you go to swing again, and then you realize, oh wait, the one standing before you is Kevir. He was just able-bodied sailor. He had been there for a while. He kind of knew how to do all of the jobs, but seeing him now, his ears have kind of extended backward, almost like elf ears, but very much not in an elf-like way. His jaw again kind of descended, his body more focused and primal in terms of a predator rather than the sailor that you knew him as. But you abstain from fighting. So next up is going to be this creature's turn. And it is going to, Kavir is going to rear up one of his claws and then swipe it down towards you, Hish, seeming to not have the same understanding of armistice or this is a person I once knew. Seems like that part of their brain is just no longer there. Does a 14 hit?
It does not.
Okay, so he does not hit you. The one that was on Ulman, also dead. Albus, you have the one that is directly on you.
Yep.
And it is going to rear up with its claw and try and swing down against you once more. Does a 16 hit?
Not if I shield.
Shield seems pretty good right now. And I imagine that as you extend your hand upward, it's just a thick spray of the seawater that is in this cargo hold that just manages to buffet away its claw. So that is it for that creature. Jill's turn.
This thing is there's one in front of Hish. There's one in front of Albus, right?
Yes.
Are those, I would say, within a 15-foot cube?
Hish would still be in the 15-foot cube, as Hish had run forward. So in order to get the one in front of you, in front of Hish, as well as the one in front of you, you would have to get Hish in that actual zone.
Okay, then she's going to go over to Hish's boy and at first level do a thunder wave.
Okay.
I need to make a con save.
That is a 6.
Okay, it's going to take 2d8 points of thunder damage, and it's going to be pushed back. That's what I was trying to do last time. 10 feet away. And that's 11 points of thunder damage.
Okay. Sounds good. This thing's looking real messed up. It's having a bad time, yo. What is that? It for Jill? Any bonus action?
No.
Okay, sounds good. So then next up, Albus. There's this creature directly in front of you.
I'm gonna stab it with my rapier. Or try to.
Okay.
Not going to. With a 10.
No. 10 is not the number you were looking for.
That's my turn.
No bonus action?
Nope.
Okay, sounds good. Next up, Ulman.
I would like
you have
to-
inspiration.
Yeah. I'm gonna attack this boy with using my inspiration. So why not?
Okay, which boy? There's the one that is on
I'm
Albus, and then
flanking
there's
the one with Albus.
Okay, got
currently.
it.
I keep rolling 15s. It's today's lucky number. 21.
Okay. Roll for damage.
Uh, 12.
Sounds good. Does not seem to like the 12 damage. Most creatures don't like damage. Unless it's your thing, you know. I'm not going to kink shame here.
It's fine.
Did you have a bonus action that you would like to do?
No.
Okay. Sounds good. So, then next up, Hish. You have this one creature that is on you.
Is it still on me, or was it pushed from?
It's 10 feet away.
Yeah, so it's 10 feet away from where you are. That is correct. Sorry.
I think Hish is actually going to turn around and find what's left of the one that Ulman originally killed.
Okay. Sounds good. Make an investigation check.
And he's going to turn it over. That was a 12.
Okay. So with your 12, looking at it, you see that it is the remains of the last quote unquote Sharktooth Salvador to have sailed the seas. It was a human whose name was Hardin.
Yeah, I think Hish is just staring down at this body, and that's his turn.
Okay, sounds good. So next up, the creatures. The one that was on Hish that had been pushed back now sees that Jill is the most forward-facing enemy, and it is going to rush forward and try and use its sweet claws against Jill for a 17.
No.
Your cleric's so fucking tanky. I love it. So the claws do absolutely nothing. Then Albus, the one that is on you, is also, again, going to continue trying to swipe out with its claws towards you. That is a 13.
No.
Okay, so its claws go, and at this point, how tiresome. This creature has used this same attack against you for multiple rounds. You are a quick learner. It does not matter. So, it is now Jill's turn. She has this one creature directly on her.
She is going to... she's going to attack it with her warhammer.
Okay.
That's not her die. This is her die. This is going to hit. How's a 20?
A 20 totally hits.
For 4 points of damage.
Okay. Sounds good. This creature is still standing. Does not like it one bit. But still maintaining its foothold. So, next up, Albus.
Albus, gosh. It's still right up against me. Okay.
Yeah, it is still 5 feet directly in front of you.
I'm gonna try to hit it with the rapier again. 7 plus 4, 13. No, that's not how math works. 11.
Okay. 11 to hit.
Yep.
Does not hit. This creature also seems to be anticipating your moves now. Now that there is another boy directly on top of it, it seems to be trying to have a little bit more spatial awareness to it.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Okay. Ulman, it is your go.
Continue my work behind this creature.
Okay.
Does a 13 hit?
A 13 just hits. Roll for damage.
Uh, 10.
Okay. 10 points. It is doing its best. It's doing its second best to stay up. It's still there, though. So, Hish. It is your go, unless, Ulman, you had a bonus action.
For Hish's turn, he stares at this body.
That's fair. So, next up are the creatures. The one that is still on Jill, and it is going to try and make claw attacks against her. It doesn't. It's a sorry attempt. And then Ulman, seeing as how you have presented yourself as an enemy to this creature, it is going to rear back with a claw and then swipe down towards you in an attempt to get you with his bits. So that is a 17 to hit.
That does not hit me.
All right. Really? A 17?
Yeah, my AC is 18 with my shield.
You're fucking silly. Okay.
Yeah.
Rogues with shields. What life is this? This is Jill's turn.
How rough are each of the guys looking?
They are both looking pretty messed up. Both of them, Jill would definitely consider bloodied.
Okay, the one that she's soloing right now, I need it to make a wisdom save.
That is an 11.
Okay, she tolls the bed for 11 points of necrotic damage.
Shit.
With a fucking cantrip.
So, as Jill's gong rolls out, you see this creature kind of rear back, and its head shakes a little bit, and then you just see that in the weirdest way, its eyes roll back, but you can only tell that they roll back because at the base you can see the veins of the actual action of the roll. There's no color there otherwise, and it ends up falling backwards into the water as Jill's body count increases once again. So then next up, Albus. The only one that is left is the one directly on you and Ulman.
Can I get a strength save
Yes.
for lightning lure?
Also, make a Constitution save.
Oh no. Oh no.
Because it's stinky.
Yeah, natural 1.
Okay, you are going to be poisoned for until the start of the ghast's next turn.
Okay.
Yep. It got a 9. Or a, sorry, not a 9, a 12 on its strength save.
That still fails.
Okay. We did it, gang.
7 points of lightning damage.
Okay. 7 points. It is still standing. It is looking very messed up.
It is cursed by the sea. It's not going to live that long, but...
Okay. Sounds good. Ulman, it is your go.
Let's finish this boy. "13 hits precisely again."
Yes.
12 damage.
Okay, Ulman, what does your final hit look like?
I think I have just been repeatedly stabbing it in the back as much as possible, and as soon as it turns around to face me, I use that opportunity to stab it up through the jaw.
Okay. Sounds good. So yeah, you do this finishing stab through the jaw. The creature stops as the blade pierces into its processing center of a brain, and you watch as this figure's arms just sort of come to a slack at the sides, and then as you pull your dagger out, it just careens back into the water, and then sinks down, no longer actually having the capacity to retain water, as it was already an extremely bloated creature. But you guys are out of combat, and Hish, you see, like, getting a chance to really take in the crew members that you had. There was Hardin, there was Kavir. You see that one of these forms actually had more of an avian look to them, and you're assuming that was Cross, your Kenku friend. And then there was another crew member that was, again, one of the newer ones. Their name was Jacobs, or at least that was what you called them. They were a half elf, and you see that they have also kind of suffered the same fate as the rest of your crew in this situation. And Jill, being very business oriented, is going to be making her way towards the large blue steel box with the letter A in it, and just, well, this is what we came for, isn't it? Little undead, honestly, not a little bit more welcome than the spiders, I would think. She goes and grabs onto the handle. And as she grabs onto the handle of this strongbox, you feel the ship shift and shake. Almost like there is some other force that is shifting it, not necessarily a wave. This seems much more forceful in its actual pattern.
When that happens, Hish, still looking down at Hardin, says, "Jill, don't touch that."
And she looks at you. "This is what we came for. 10,000 gold pieces. This box.
He closes his eyes tightly, and then looks back at her. How do you intend to get the lockbox on the ship?
And she motions to you. You realize you are like the strongest person I've ever met, right? I'm assuming if you got it down here the first time, you'd be able to be strong enough to pick it up and help us out. And as she says that, the ship rocks again. This time from the other direction, and you start to hear the wood beginning to groan, but in a way that isn't similar to how it is whenever it's resting out on the ocean. It seems like the force that has actually been shifting your boat from side to side is putting pressure on the side walls of the hull.
Can we wrap this up really quickly?
Whatever we do, we should do it fast.
I am not the strongest one. I can help, all things considered, but we are really going to need your assistance in this whole matter.
Fine. Hish grabs the remains in front of him by whatever tatters are hanging off and drags him through the water with him and shoves him at Jill and says, just you and Albus take him up onto the deck. Ulman, you're with me. And he moves to grab the lockbox and sort of looks at Ulman expectantly.
Ulman rushes over.
Okay. What is Jill's strength?
Jill's strength is 16.
Okay. Jill is a strong girl. Chances are she is able to, without your help, really, Albus, is to like shoulder carry this corpse, and she sort of is mumbling to herself about why we need to be bringing this one along. And that is when you hear a snapping sound. There is a break where previously there had only been this groaning, and looking down the length of the hole in the cargo hold, you see that the entire wall has cracked. And for a brief moment, you see that crack get pulled inward and then back outward and then inward again. And as it comes back outward, there is a shattering of wood and splintering, and it just seems to propel itself into the waves of the cargo hold. As again, the water is about 3 feet, and in its place where the sidewall was, you see suckers as large as a person's form, with a backing of this deep reddish orange color of what looks to be almost like a slimy skin colored texture, as this unknowing entity seems to be latching itself onto the side hull of this ship. And you see in other parts that the side arms of this hull are beginning to pull and press forward. What would you guys like to do?
Run?
Okay.
Move it!
So, Albus, you and Jill are sprinting forward. Hish, you and Ulman, because you are the ones moving this lockbox, your speed is going to be reduced by 10 feet as you continue to move with this thing. Albus, what would you like to do?
Hish, take a point of bardic inspiration. Take a d6.
Okay.
Okay. So, Hish, you have...
That's both of you, right?
Hish is going to have advantage because Ulman is helping.
Okay.
So the two of you get to the base of this stepladder, and as you begin kind of shifting the lockbox up, you see that these large tentacles actually break through the sidewalls of the bottom of the ship and just begin wrapping themselves around the bottom layer of the cargo hold, just beginning to tear and break the ship apart as water begins to flood in this area. Ulman, you are 3 feet standing in water, and you feel that this cargo hold is very quickly taking on water as the two of you are making your way with this box, as best as you can tell, up the trapdoor. So, with that, Hish, I would like for you to make a strength athletics check. This will be at advantage because you have somebody helping.
It's a 5 and a 14 plus 7.
Okay. Good. That is what you needed. So, as you are making this way, it is very heavy. It is very difficult, but you managed to pull the lockbox up into the galley where you were before. Ulman, you are about chest high in water now, and you can feel the ship around you is beginning to sink into the ocean as you quickly go up the stepladder, going into the galley. So, Hish and Albus and Jill, you guys are making your way up onto the deck of the ship, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys begin making your way, and you exit the galley, and you go up to where the altar to Lolth was. Hish and Ulman. Hish, I need you to make another athletics check.
This time without advantage?
This time with advantage because Ulman is still helping you out, but I need everybody to make dexterity saves.
Okay,
As you feel the ship lurch
first.
port side.
That's a 17 for me.
17 plus 7 for the strength, and then 14. Sorry, never mind. 13 for the dex save.
Okay, so 13 for dex. From Hish.
9 and 10.
9 and 10. Okay. Who had the 10? Who had the 9?
Albus had the 10.
Okay. Jill had the 9. Got it.
Yep.
Ulman.
17.
17. Okay, so as you guys are running, the ship lurches, and Albus, you're able to position yourself. Jill has this added weight of this creature on her shoulders, so as she goes to try and position herself, she ends up getting throttled against the wall of the stairwell that you guys are on and begins tumbling backwards, actually down into the galley, and the creature that she had on her shoulder actually falls off as well. So on her next turn, she's going to have to spend half of her movement to be able to stand up, action to pick up this creature, and then begin going up the stairwell again. She has been knocked prone by the rocking of this, but Hish, Ulman, the two of you are able to withstand the force that is currently trying to rock this ship from back and forth. Next up. So, that has happened. Next up is going to be Albus. You are continuing up. Ulman, you are helping out Hish. So then, Hish, it is your turn. As you feel the ship just kind of getting rocked back and forth from side to side.
Yeah, I think can Hish, as he's pulling the lockbox with, or pushing it with Ulman, can he see Jill tumbling back down into the galley?
Yeah. Just very clearly in front of your view, you see Jill tumble back down, and then Jill is looking at the body, looking up at the stairs, just being like, I'm not necessarily sure where I stand in this matter.
Yeah, Hish looks at her and yells, Jill, go, leave it. And sort of pushes the lockbox more to get Ulman to move faster, although I'm sure he is moving as fast as he can.
Okay, make an athletics check with advantage.
Oh, she's got Captain.
11 plus 7.
Okay. 11 plus 7. As you go to move this lockbox, you feel that your arms are burning more than you had thought. And you are still in Area 11 as you are beginning to make your way. Even with Ulman's help, the two of you are not exactly making headway on this. Ulman, as you are climbing up this rung ladder, trying to get up to the next level, the water is rising with you. It seems like the holes and the breaks within the hole below in the cargo hold were actually too great for the bilge to withstand, and the ship is now sinking at a very alarming rate. And as you get up to the galley, you look down and there is maybe 3 feet of water separating the cargo, what was formerly the cargo hull, with the actual galley itself. And you can still hear this thunderous breaking and cracking sound as what you assume to be these tentacles are just wrecking the sides of the ship.
This box is locked? Question mark?
This box is what appears to be locked arcanely.
Arcanely, damn it. I don't have arcane fingers.
Let us see very quickly. So... It does not say whether or not it is arcane or not. So, I'm going to say that it is watertight, but not sealed via arcane magics.
So we gotten it to a place we can put it down, or are we still trying to move it up the ladder?
You have gotten it past the ladder. You are in this flat spot, but you know that the water is quickly rising.
Hish, I don't know if we have a better chance of me actually picking our way into this and just taking the documents than we do carrying it.
Then do it. Do it now.
Okay.
All right. I need a sleight of hand or a thieves' tools check.
Modified 20?
So your modified 20, you feel your thieves' tools go in, and there is a moment where you hear a clicking. And as you pull your thieves' tools out, it was your tools themselves. It seems like this is a much more complex lock than you had initially given it credit for, and your tools aren't able to actually make it all of the way.
Ah, damn it. My tools aren't enough. Sorry.
Okay. So, Albus, you are going on to the deck of the ship, and as you emerge, you see that there is a half-orc that is on the deck of this ship, and you see that there are hundreds of small spiders behind him. And he looks at you, and with his right hand currently grasping onto a staff, his left hand he extends outward into a ball of fire, and he looks at you and just snarls.
Can he make a wisdom save?
Yes, he can. His wisdom save is an 18.
He'll take half of this.
Okay.
Dissonant Whisper, second level.
Sounds good.
Half of 15.
Okay, 7.
7 points of psychic damage.
Sounds good. So as you deal 7 points of psychic damage to him, he's going to reel back and hurl his fireball towards you. It's not a fireball spell. It was just a turn of phrase. It's a very small one that was in his hand that he is throwing towards you.
Doesn't matter. Still will probably kill me.
That is that would be a 21 to hit.
Yep.
For a total of 5 points of fire damage.
I am still alive.
Okay. So, sounds good. Next up, Jill looks at you, Hish, looks at Ulman, who just tried to quickly pick the lock, and she is just asks towards you, Hish, is he really important?
Hish closes his eyes and nods and then stops and he goes, "Not anymore."
And Jill just nods and runs up onto the deck of the ship. Jill sees this half-orc that had just produced flames towards you, Albus. And it is at that point that you see that there are these large pinkish red tentacles that are emerging from the ocean that are beginning to wrap along the sides of this ship. What would Jill like to do in this situation?
Yeah. Well, okay. Is there any way that we can like get off the ship? Like, is our boat anywhere near this?
Looking off to your right, you see that Tabitha and Scramp or Neris, the two people that were in charge of your rowboat, are furiously rowing towards this ship as it is going down. They don't get paid if you guys die, so their like whole stint at Ack Inc. rides on the fact that at least one of you makes it back to tell the tale. Preferably the Documancer, because paperwork, but any of you will do.
This orc and all these spiders, or person of orcish descent, I don't know if they're half orc or not, 60-foot line?
Yes.
She's going to use her headwinds ability and cast a gust of wind.
Okay.
Strength saving throw from all the creatures. I assume that means the orc and a whole bunch of spiders.
Okay, so the orc got a 12.
That's enough.
Spiders got a 9, and then also a natural 20.
That is. Oh, I guess it's whenever they start their turn. Yeah, so there's just a wind that's blowing everything like away from us.
Okay.
The spiders that got a 9 are going to be like flying off, I guess. Really? Possibly onto a big tentacle monster.
I'll allow it. That sounds fun.
And I mean, we're up here. If the boat gets close enough for us to get on, we're gonna make sure that we can get our cargo onto it and our friends, then GTFO.
It looks like it is a little over a half-minute away.
Half-minute.
It looks like it's quite a bit of ways, should you choose to wait for it to side along next to the Iron Duke versus just jumping off and going for a quick swimmy.
We're standing our ground.
Okay, sounds good. So, Hish, you and Ulman. Hish, I need you to make a strength athletics check with advantage.
12 plus 7.
Okay. 12 plus 7. Okay, still good. You guys are able to bring this box up to the deck of the ship. And it is at this point, Hish, as you come up onto the deck, you see an old crewmate. You see a familiar face amongst the chaos. It is the quiet half-orc that you had initially brought onto the crew not several weeks before your ship went down in the maelstrom, and from your take on the book was possibly the first one to resort to cannibalism. You see Krell.
Hish drops the lockbox. And pulls out his sword. as he locks eyes with Krell, and he says, "You."
And Krell, as you come up on deck and you say that, and you say those lines, Krell looks over at you, and his eyes squint, and you just see him mouth, "Sungard?" And then you see a slow smile appear on his face. And then his tongue comes out and actually wraps around his lower tusks. And then the smile just continues to widen.
"Don't you say my fucking name."
All right. What would you like to do?
I would like to kill him.
You can certainly try. You got your galaxy brain.
You do have a galaxy brain. There's also a headwind that he's in right now. If you walk into it, you're going to have to make a strength save. Oh, no, it is just if you start your turn within the line.
Yeah, so Hish, run on up, make your attack.
Yeah, I think Hish charges him and brings his scimitar straight down. A 9 + 7.
That is just enough. As your scimitar hits in, you see that his skin darker in complexion than yours is. Yours is more of a green. His is very much like this deep brownish color. As your blade sinks in, there is a cracking noise, and then it sinks through, almost like there is a second layer of skin over his general cover, but it seems to break away almost like the bark from a tree.
That is 7 fire damage, and that one fell, and 9 slashing damage. And I'd like to use my action surge to hit him again.
Okay.
With my scimitar.
Yeah, make an attack roll.
That's a natural 20.
Oh, shit! I'm not even going to make you roll for it. You can if you want, but there's no way you don't just kill this fool outright. How would you like to finish him off?
I think he pulls his sword out of the crack that he made, and he grabs Krell by the collar and thrusts his scimitar into his stomach as hard as he can. And as he's holding him, he draws him closer and says, "I hope you suffer in hell for all of eternity." And drops him.
And as you finish this and begin to drop him with Krell's last breath, he says, "What I did for the lady's blessing. And with her gleaming eyes, she will smile upon me." And then you push him back and he just falls lifeless onto the ground. But he has a smile on his face as he goes down. Albus.
Since he's dead.
Super dead.
Would that mean he automatically fails his strength saving throw?
Yes.
And gets blown away?
Like dust on the wind. As he falls back, he just and tumbles, and you see him go into the door of the next room that was at the forecastle. For sure that happens. So, Hish, you end up doing this. Next up is Jill. What would Jill like to do? There still seems to be a while hopeless amount of spiders You guys have had more hopeless encounters earlier on in this day.
She's gonna drop the gust of wind, and yeah, told the dead on the spiders.
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah, sounds good.
Wisdom save.
Okay, let's see how spiders fare in the wisdom department. That's a 4.
They haven't been attacked,
No.
right? Okay. Damn it, because that was a 12.
Oh, shit.
Well, they'll still take 7.
Okay. Sounds good. There we go. Sounds good. So, yes, Toll the Dead has happened on these spiders. Then next up is Albus. As you are standing on the deck and making sure that everything is covered, you feel the ship begin to shift towards its port side and begin getting pulled as it seems these large tendrils are currently attempting to drag it into the ocean. And it is at that point that you hear this sound next to you, and there is a large blue and white spider that seems to just have these kind of dripping mandibles next to it, and it is going to attempt to reach out and bite you. That is a 21 to hit.
Yep.
Okay. So, that is a total of 8 points of piercing damage.
Mm-hmm.
And then you need to make a Constitution saving throw.
If I'm unconscious, do I automatically fail it?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Okay, so, the poison that then begins to course through your veins, because of the way this creature's poison works, it does not kill you outright, but instead stabilizes you at 0.
Great.
Yeah, so Albus, you are passed out at 0. And you are poisoned for an hour. You are also paralyzed currently. As this creature has just popped in, nabbed at you, and then you have dropped. Albus, it would be your turn, but you are paralyzed and unconscious and at 0. So to the next person, Ulman. Ulman, you have just seen this large creature burst in out of seemingly nowhere and just immediately sink its mandibles into Albus.
Oh, why more spiders? He runs over to stand above Albus and slash at it.
Okay.
Does a 16 hit?
A 16 totally hits. Roll for damage.
Cool. $15.
Okay, so 15 is that's pretty good. It does not seem to appreciate the level of familiarity which you are trying to establish between the two of you, as it shrieks out in pain from you stabbing it quite heartily. So do you have a bonus action that you would like to do?
No.
Okay, so no bonus action there. Hish, what would you like to do? As you have just stabbed and then watched as Krell's body drifted away. You see that there is now this blue-white spider that seemed to have just one-shotted Albus. And then Ulman ran up, stabbed it, and you see that there are several other spiders making their way up as well. And it looks like your friends, your hirelings, are still at least a couple rounds away from bringing the boat up to the side.
Is the gust of wind still happening?
No, Jill ended the gust of wind.
Okay. then I think I don't have a way to help Albus. Hish is going to drag the lockbox as close to the edge of the ship as he can to get it into
Throwing position. Make an athletics check. You will not have advantage as Ulman is no longer helping you.
You have
All
inspiration.
I do have inspiration. I am going to throw that at the same time. 11, 12, 13, 14, plus 7.
Okay. Yeah, you're fine on moving this. It's taking some time, but again, you moved this lockbox by yourself the first time. You can move it the second time, no issue. And at this point, you feel that the ship is listing so much to the port side that you actually need to hold one arm around the gun rail just to be able to hold this box up near the side of the ship as, again, it is beginning to careen. Then next up is going to be Jill.
Jill is going to smack a phase fire. $18 to hit.
Oh, that'll totally hit. Roll for damage.
10.
Okay. So this creature is looking mightily injured. And on its turn, going after Jill, unless Jill has a bonus action she would like to do.
Nope.
Okay. On its turn, it just seems to kind of like shake back and forth and is going to try and bite out towards Jill as she just laid down the hurt for 18.
18 will just hit.
Okay, so that is going to be for 7 points of piercing damage, and then she is going to need to make a Constitution save.
Four.
Okay. So Jill, in all of her glory, is going to be taking 15 points of poison damage.
Jill is unconscious.
And also at 0 and paralyzed. And this creature then uses its bonus action, and you hear that same as it just seems to, almost like a hole behind it that is drawing it in, it just disappears out of the material plane, leaving the four of you, Hish with one arm on this lockbox, the other on the gun rail. Ulman, you having tried to stab out against this, looking off into the distance, you see that there are more spiders coming out, wrapping themselves over Krell's body. You can see that there are humanoid figures, but their top half is almost vivisected, and they seem to be laughing to themselves as they are just ripping around them, just kind of picking up spiders and dropping them into this large maw, as these four creatures are just, again, maniacally laughing to themselves as all this is happening. These tendrils are wrapping around the ship and just breaking down the mast, ripping it from limb to limb. I need you to make a dexterity save.
Wait, who?
20.
20? All right, sounds good. So at this, you see that there is a large tentacle that actually whips up and tries to come towards you, but you're able to dodge under it rather expertly in doing so. So, next up, Hish. Hish, you can see that your boat is maybe about 3 feet or about 3 rounds away from where you are. I need you to make a dexterity save as this tendril also comes down and tries to hit against you.
That's an 18 minus 1, 17.
Still good. You manage to also dodge out of the way as this tendril as it comes by. What would you like to do on your turn? You see that the spiders are currently occupied with these... You aren't sure, but they are laughing. They look hideous, and they are trying to either eat or kill the spiders in the room adjacent to where you guys are.
Hish looks over at Ulman and shouts, "Can you carry them?
I can try.
Take them off the ship now." And I think he's going to remain with the lockbox and hold it and wait until the
rowboat comes.
the rowboat gets closer.
All right. So, then next up, Ulman. What is your carrying capacity? You can find this out by clicking on your strength score using D&D Beyond.
113 pounds.
113 pounds? Albus, how much do you weigh?
Albus, he's got to be like 125.
Okay. How much do you think Jill weighs with all of her gear as well?
With all of her gear, probably Andor, I don't feel comfortable guessing a woman's feet. But she's carrying much more serious hardware than Albus is. So it would, if not the same, then maybe a little bit more with all of her gear.
Okay. So, Ulman, you have to make a choice. Regardless of who you pick up, you are going to be encumbered and moving at half speed. Hish has told you to do your best to grab both of them.
One of us can breathe underwater.
Yeah, there's that. Ulman is actually worried at this very second that phase spider is going to try to pop out and get him as well. And I'm torn on whether to wait around for that. I think Ulman does. He, lowers himself into that, combative stance and, closes his eyes and breathes in deep and, just watches. And he's ready in action to attempt to stab the phase spider if it reappears.
Okay.
Hish is shouting at Ulman just over and over again.
I'm paralyzed, right?
Yes.
Can I still speak telepathically?
You are also unconscious.
Fuck. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yes. So, at the beginning of the next turn, your rowboat is roughly about 2 rounds away from where you are. There is a lurching, and you see as Jill's body goes more down towards the port side of the ship. Albus's also rolls down. There doesn't seem to have been any recurrence of the phase spider. You hear a rumbling and breaking from within the room that was towards the front of the ship, as it seems like whatever figures were there are also getting thrown off down into the side. Then there is a moment where you see the ship rock again, and you see as Jill actually goes over the side of the gun rail and then goes into the water. Albus is thrown directly against the gun rail, and it looks like if there is another jostling by the ship that he too is going to enter into the drink.
Can I, in a readied physical state, as it jolts just use that momentum to leap?
Because of the way that held actions work in 5e, because you had stated that you were waiting for this spider to come, so that way when you see the spider, you can stab it, you would have to wait until your turn to actually do any of that kind of movement. Ulman, we are at the top of the round with you. Make a dexterity check as one of these large tendrils comes by and attempts to sweep you.
18.
Okay, 18. You dodge underneath one of these large tentacles. What would you like to do?
He immediately runs and swan dives after Jill.
Okay. So you jump off into the ocean, going to look for Jill. Hish, this is what you see of Albus getting thrown onto the gunrail near the water of the ship that is currently sinking. Jill has been thrown into the water below. And Ulman just jumps off the side, then into the drink as well. You are currently holding on to this lockbox. You can see that your rowboat is close enough that you could run along the side wall with this lockbox and get into the rowboat before any further damage ended up occurring to you. What would you like to do?
Hish is going to push the lockbox into the boat.
Make an athletics check.
It's a 4 + 7.
So you go to try and lift this lockbox up, but because you're holding onto the gunrail with one arm and just trying to one arm strength this lockbox up, you actually feel your muscles beginning to burn and falter a little bit as you go to maintain your strength on this, and you are able to get it up to the side. But as far as getting it into the rowboat, you won't be able to do that again until next turn.
Where is Albus in relation to me?
Albus is maybe... he would be about 35 feet away on the ledge of the gunrail. He is the water that is currently lapping along the side of the ship as it is beginning to capsize is going up about 3/4 of his body, half of his body.
Is he ahead of me or is he behind me?
He is behind. He fell down to the port side as it was getting overturned and tried to be brought down by whatever creature exists below.
Okay, that's my turn.
Okay. Sounds good. So, Ulman, make a perception check. It's going to be at disadvantage as well, because you are diving into where an enemy is thrashing about, looking underwater.
Thank you, Dice. You will get a very nice treatment after this. 22.
Okay. You are used to these rather chaotic situations, and you see maybe about 10 feet below where you are is Jill, her arms outstretched, kind of in a bowed motion, just sinking. Seems like the weight of her gear, possibly even her documancy bag, is what's dragging her down.
I swim towards her.
Okay. Make an athletics check as you try and hold on to Jill and swim towards the surface once more.
That's a flat 15.
Okay. As you begin to try and swim, you realize that you're not making any headway going back up to the surface. You've grabbed onto her, but you're not making any progress. Hish, you feel the ship rock again, and at this point you see Albus's form just sort of get dragged under the water. You are the last survivor of the Iron Duke's shipwreck once again, from what you can tell.
I drop the lockbox and I dive after Albus.
Okay. As you dive in, make a perception check. This will be at disadvantage.
Those are, I shit you not, both natural 20s.
Womp, 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 womp. So, you had managed to get the lockbox onto the side railing of the ship, so it is currently just shooting down towards Tabitha and Neris, who are going to try and attempt to just like catch it as it makes its way there. They do rather well with it, so you hear both of them just, ugh! Get on the rowboat! What are you doing? As you leap off the side rail and just spear dive into the water, you see Albus's form currently just becoming more waterlogged. As you look around, you see that Ulman has grabbed a hold of Hish and is currently just trying to one-arm stroke, but he doesn't seem to be gaining any headway with it. With your natural 20, you're able to grab Albus and then swim, or make an athletics check, because that was just a 20 for perception.
Mm-hmm. It's a 7 + 7, 14.
Okay, with a 14, you have a 5 in strength. This is more just fighting against the water at this point. Like, you'd be able to lift up Albus regardless of how hefty you made him. So you managed to just kind of bat yourself swimming to the surface with this unconscious Albus in your arms. Ulman, I need you to make another strength save.
What does my hat do again? My Helm of the Sea?
That allows you to take your action as you otherwise would normally be able to underwater without any kind of detriment.
That gets him at swim speed as well, though.
I believe, and it also might give you underwater breathing. Let me check real quick. So let's see here. You gain a swimming speed of 30, dark vision up to 60, and you can breathe underwater. However,
So I do dark vision too. Cool.
However, your friend Jill is not as lucky.
I'm still holding on to them, right?
Yes.
Cool. This time I get an 18 on my athletics.
Okay. So with an 18 with your swim speed, thankfully you held on to your cowboy hat in this moment, but you are also able to get to the surface of this tumultuous ocean, holding Jill up as best you can. You look over and you see that Hish is also treading water, holding Albus up by just the scruff of his coat. And you see like his face is like going in to the ocean every once in a while, but like he breathes underwater. It's fine. It's fine. And as the two of you make one more set of athletics checks as you watch as this ship just gets dragged down into the depths.
17.
19 + 7 for
So with your
Hish.
17 and with your 26, you are able to hold on to these two as you feel the current of the ship getting brought down under the ocean. And as you look over, you see with this large rippling wave that your rowboat gets pushed back ever so slightly, and inside of it is this lockbox that you managed to take from the cargo hold of the Iron Duke. And as the two of you, Ulman and Hish, swim back to this rowboat holding on to your two currently unconscious party members, that is where we are going to call it for tonight's session. So I would like to say thank you to everybody who decided to stop by and join us for this wonderful excursion into the ghost ship with all sorts of crazy bullshit going on with it. I had a great time with it, but let's see from our players. Hey, Dingo, where can we find you and what do you do?
You can find me dead on the ground. You can find me dead and dying and being dead. Holy shit. You can find me on Twitter at WheresMyDingus. I do a bunch of tabletop RPGs all around the internet, primarily on Off the Table. But if you follow me on, I can't think straight right now. So if you follow me on Twitter, that's where you're going to be able to see all of the things that I do.
All right, excellent. And Reeves, where can we find you? What do you do?
Oh, hello there. You can find me at twitch.tv/Reeves_bot or on Twitter at Reeves_bot. I play games on Wednesdays and Sundays, and I mean video games, not tabletop games. On Wednesdays, I'm trying to play all the way through my Steam library, plus other various launchers, but we don't talk about them. And 3 games a week, all chosen by a rotating co-host. And I try to decide if they're worth putting more time into or not. And on Sundays, we're currently playing through Divinity 2 on Tactician mode and having a great time now that we're looking up fight sequences so that we aren't constantly having our asses handed to us. But yeah, Thursdays I'm here.
Excellent. And Cyber, where can we find you? What do you do?
Hi, my butthole's clenched. I'm Cyber. You can find me.
What about your butt?
My butthole's been clenched for an hour. This has been stressful. Anyway, you can find me at Cyberwolf1201 where I shitpost. And talk about whenever I go live on places like twitch.tv/Cyberwolf1201. I play video games real badly and talk about lore. I'm going to be playing a game on Saturday, 7 p.m. Central Time. I don't know what it is yet. I might have an idea. It might be a good time. I don't know yet. All the archives of that go to a YouTube with a not so great URL right now. But, you know, if you get a few more subscribers to go and click that big red button once I hit 100, not only will I be able to change the URL, but I will be giving away one of the Gen Con exclusive Critical Role Jester pins that they were selling at the live show. So if you want that, subscribe to the channel. Get your friends to. You can find all cool archives there, as well as both the podcast like KyleWithAnN, who I'm so thankful that I didn't kill today. Go to listen to our podcast called Let's Talk About It, where we get drunk, do parkour, and talk about the RPG stuff that's going on, both in our games and in the larger community. We gonna be talking at some point. You can also, in addition to that, find some D&D Beyond homebrew tutorials where I tell you how to get this free stuff that you love, like the Critical Role Dunamancy spells, and how to put them into D&D Beyond so you can use them yourself. So yeah, go sub, go do that. But for other RPG stuff, check out Open for Adventures. I know, or twitch.tv/Open for Adventure, because I know a few of the people in the Indoor Adventures community are going to be making appearances on there. I help behind the scenes, but yeah, you should go check them out. Twitch.tv/Open for Adventures, or Open for Adventure, or at Open the number 4 Adventure on Twitter. But for if you want to see me, you found me today, dying a lot. But you can also find me on Monday on twitch.tv/Indoor Adventures, where I also die a lot. But for real. Yeah.
All right, and hey fella, how's it going? It's me, your buddy, your pal, your friend, the Indoor Adventurer, the showrunner here at twitch.tv/Indoor Adventures. I am also the community manager for everything that we do here. So, hi. If you like what we did, We do shows like this Monday, Tuesday, and Thursdays. That's today at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We upload the VODs of everything that we do, whether it is community games, whether it is charity games, whether it's our ongoing series like this, all to our YouTube at youtube.com/indooradventures, as well as audio casts, because we understand that YouTube is butts when it comes to wanting to have the screen of your phone turned off, but still listen to content or possibly download that content onto your phone, so that way you don't use your data plan, because unlike some people, I do not have the best in terms of data plans, so I always download my stuff. So if that kind of thing interests you, consider checking Indoor Adventures out pretty much anywhere. And if you do, hey, leave us a review. Let us know how we're doing. I had a great time tonight with spooky spiders and a ship capsizing, so let us know. Did you like this episode? It'll be a good time. I promise that. We also have our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other, but also from the community at large. So if you are interested in posing a question either to us as characters or us as players, consider it. You can ask those questions either in our Discord or in our Patreon. It's a good time. I recommend it. But we are going to go off to do that. So we will see all of you guys next time. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.